Go ahead and finish your meal, but let me welcome you to the 2013-14 Athletic Hall of Fame induction. And at this time, it is an honor for me to introduce to you the president of Homsey University, Robert Henry.
Somebody has given him the microphone, which is always a mistake. So I apologize in advance for what he said. And it's good to see our Sandy Cotton back on campus. We like to see you on campus a lot. I am very proud of this athletic program we have at OCU. I think it's the finest in the country. I am particularly proud as well, and JR and I were talking about this at the table today, about the academic prowess of this class, of this school, of these scholars that are also athletes. I appreciate that very much. So this is a big part of Oklahoma City University. We've been hearing some stories at our table, and maybe you'll get to hear some of those today. I hope you do, because the history and the tradition of fine athletics here is ingrained in Oklahoma City University. So we know our speakers and their guests will rise to the occasion to praise these wonderful honorees that we're presenting today. And thank you all for coming, and we'll see you at the ball.
Thank you, President Henry. And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Jim Abbott, who is the Oklahoma City University Vice President in charge of athletics, and he will have it from here.
Can you hear me okay? Seems like if you get right on it, you don't work so well. For 35 or 6 years, Phil Wofford has been the voice of OCU athletics. He started in basketball and now helps us with wrestling and softball, but he's a guy who loves OCU and is a parent and everything that he's done. Would you join me in thanking Phil for his service? Just a word to the wise. We have at least a handful of individuals who are here today that are already in our Athletic Hall of Fame. If you've already been inducted, would you stand at this time? Earlier this week, Forrest hit a baseball that traveled about 150 feet over our right field fence. Our right field fence is how far, guys? About 330? 325. So this ball went almost 480 feet. Let's give Forrest a I was parked about 150 feet beyond the right field fence, and first two honorees are trailblazers. They are the first two fans, and I don't think fans goes nearly far enough to describe who they really are. But they're the first two fans to ever be inducted into our Hall of Fame. We have a meritorious service category. In looking at it, everyone that has been inducted in that area has worked in athletics at OCU. We have 2 administrative assistants that are in our Hall of Fame. I think that's really cool. I think it's really interesting and worthwhile that we recognize those people who make the strongest contributions to us. So our first 2 honorees are Paul and Kim Sanders. Here to introduce them is a gentleman who is also a great fan of OCU. He's been of great service to our university. He serves on the University Board of Trustees. Please welcome Mr. J.R. Homsey.
I don't know about this microphone. President Henry, we're going to have to work on this sound system. I don't want people to be unable to hear it. I want to tell you right now, if you don't know Kim and Paul, now I have had the pleasure of knowing them for many decades. I hate to tell you how long, but my family started here as Gold Bugs, went to Chiefs, now Stars. So I can tell you, I've known these people for, I don't know, 40 years or so. And if you don't know them, you need to ask any opposing coach, because they know them. He harasses everybody. But, you know, it's interesting, because over the years, I have been with this guy and his lovely wife, and we've been to soccer games that the wind was about 50 miles an hour and pretty cold. One time, we were at a baseball game, and one of our kids knocked one over left center, crossed the street, landed in the law school's student's back windshield, wiped it out. We almost got sued over that. So we've been to basketball games, men and women, where one of those players was rushing to the side to save a ball from going out of bounds and wound up in our lap. We've had foul balls hit us from the softball team. And just basically, what I want to tell you is that many of us think we're great fans. And the truth is, we have a lot of great fans in this room. Some of us think we're number 1. Well, there's a tie for number 1, and that's Kim and Paul. Everybody else may be in the top 10, but those 2 are number 1 together. No question about that. They've attended OCU ball games for 30, 40 years. I can't tell you every single sport. They regularly attend away games. They have gone to men's and women's basketball tournaments, national tournaments, baseball, national tournaments, softball, volleyball, men's and women's wrestling, soccer and cheer. They've attended every single head of the regatta we've ever had, and that has really been a wonderful thing. If you haven't been to one, you need to go. The only thing is that one time, Coach Marty and Coach Kyle of the golf teams were more than happy to take their money and not have them play in the golf tournaments. You know, the chances of them taking a club and getting a projectile into the foursome in front of them are pretty prevalent. So we were happy to just make the donation. So anyway, they've been the most consistent donors in the history of OCU for our athletic department. And I'm not just saying that. You have to see this to believe it. For the last 35 years, they have donated to every single sport we have, and that's 21 sports now. So every sport has received something from the Sanders family. It's been unconditional support. I can't say enough. I'm thrilled that I'm up here to honor my good friends and probably the best athletic friends that this university's ever had, maybe ever will have. At this time, you can feel free to rise and welcome my dear friends and the friends of OCU.
Good afternoon. This time I get to talk before Kim. Is that all right if I talk before you? You know what you say when you're married? Yes, dear. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. Anyway, I would like to thank OCU and the Athletic Department for the Meritorious Service Award, or I would call it the Old Timers Award. I'm just all kidding, Jim. In 1964, I met Mark Slaughter at a National Boy Scout Jamboree. As troops from Edmond and Northside Oklahoma City, Northeast Oklahoma City were combined into one troop. Mark and I stayed in contact after the Jamboree. He called me in the fall of 1966 and asked me if I would come to work with him on Saturday mornings, where his father was a manager at Trig Construction Company. Actually, that was a big field back then. Today, Bob Howard or Bob Moore Cadillac is at that location. But back in 1966, it was just a plain old field with small companies, small construction companies. This arrangement worked out because we could work in the mornings and early afternoons and then attend OCU basketball games later in the day. I was 19 at that time. This also allowed me to meet a young chick named Kim Moody. A young chick. Now an old young chick. She later was an all-college basketball queen. I'm going to tell that on her candidate. So I asked her to marry me in 1972. We set the date on September 23rd, 1972, on her birthday. And that way she could receive 2 cakes at the same time. 1 cake for our wedding and 1 cake for her birthday. Actually, we had probably about 125 people there, and unfortunately, we had to use both cakes at our wedding. One of the thousands of OCU athletic contests I remember was a retired Oklahoma City fireman named George, who sat with Kim and I during a basketball game at the State Fair Arena. George blew his whistle. All the players and referees stopped and looked at each other and wondered where this whistle was coming from, and so it was hard for us to keep a straight face. One of the fun moments we had back in the old days. It was keep a straight face. During my first year watching men's basketball at OCU, they led all NCAA Division I schools in scoring at 90.1 points per game that year, even without 3-point scoring. I want to congratulate Ted Ledbetter, Cathy Hayes. Congratulations again today. Kim and I have known the 4 other recipients of the Meritorious Service Award and feel honored to be part of OCU and the athletic department. JR, for the past 48 years, JR, since 1966. I hope you will join us on February 26, 2016, on our 50th anniversary of being at Oklahoma City University. Thank you. I was hoping that she'd sit down and I'd have to go over and ask her for permission, so she threw me a curve on that.
The first basketball game I attended at OCU was the All-College Tournament, which was held on the stage of the Civic Center in 1965. My parents, sister, and I had just moved to Oklahoma City from Wichita. Later that year, I attended college night at my high school and was sold on coming to OCU. It worked great for me. I lived at home, had a job working for my dad at Mid-Central Cisco, which was at 29th and Santa Fe, and received a scholarship that paid half my tuition, $225 per semester. Yes, that was half the tuition from 12 to 16 hours. I joined out for fees and attended all the OCU basketball games, either with friends or my parents. After meeting Paul, graduating, and getting married, we continued to attend all of the OCU basketball games. So early on, we supported OCU sports by attending events, buying tickets, and small donations. We figured that might help pay back, or as they now say, pay it forward, and be a thanks for the scholarship I received. I think we paid back the $1,800. Later on in our careers, as we had more time, we added more sports, softball, baseball, soccer, and others, to our OCU support list. Now that we are retired, we continue to attend more games and local and national tournaments. We truly love supporting OCU. We thank all the coaches and athletes truly appreciate our attendance and support of their events. We want to thank the coaches, student athletes, and athletic department for all the appreciation they show to us. We've had a lot of fun over the years with the athletes, coaches, and parents from OCU and opposing schools, and really have had a great time supporting OCU athletics in many different ways. I want to thank Paul for being a great husband and a great friend to OCU with me. We have a good time together. Thanks to my parents for making it possible for me to attend OCU. And thanks to our friends for coming to support us. And we want to thank you for this unexpected report.